Coach Prime got into a spat with a media member the other day. Is he causing too many distractions? We'll talk a little Deion Sanders and Colorado football. Plus, I react to the AP Top 25 as college football is just around the corner. My name is Harrison Graham. Before we get into that, comment yes or no. AP poll is out. Coaches poll is out. It doesn't really matter that much, to be honest, until the games get rolling. But do you guys want me to release my own top 25 rankings heading into week one of the college football season? If you do, type yes. If you don't, type no. No worries either way. But if you guys are interested in that, I'll drop my top 25. All right, more Deion drama. And this one's a bit of a doozy, folks. As, you know, since he's gotten this job at Colorado, you've kind of had it all, right? You've had the entertainment. That's been there throughout. You've had the highs on the football field when they took down TCU in week one last year, and that felt like a huge deal. And, you know, as time went on, that TCU team wasn't very good, neither was Colorado, but it felt real and big at the time. And then you've had the lows, the off-the-field drama, things with the media, Shedeur and mostly Shedeur, but a little bit of Travis Hunter causing headlines on social media. They were barking at a kid that transferred from the program. It's like just unnecessary. It's kind of the word that I would describe a lot of this stuff. And that's how I feel about this latest situation at his most recent press conference. So here's what happened. A local CBS affiliate reporter out of Denver, he said, you know, if you've ever watched a press conference, they say, you know, I'll give you an example. Harrison Graham from Chat Sports, coach. Here's my question. Typically, they give their affiliation. And he said, so-and-so from CBS in Denver. And Deion right away cut him off and said, CBS? I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question. And I didn't even know what this stemmed from. I was like, what's his beef with CBS? What's going on here? The reporter went back with him like, hey, like I'm local, I'm not national. And, you know, Deion said, you are who you are. CBS is CBS. He did say like, hey, man, I'm not coming after you personally, but what they did was foul. That's what he said. So I looked into this, and I'm about 99% sure it's from this. CBS Sports, their writing staff, or national, ranked their top, or the Big 12 coaches, 1 through, 16 now? And Deion came in as the second worst coach on the list. And you might say, and you might think, that's a bit unfair. He's only done this for 2 years. It started pretty decent last year. He took over a bad Colorado team, and look, all that's true. But he hasn't really accomplished anything either. So, like, did he expect to be considered a top 5 coach in the conference? Now, if it's based on who draws ratings, who draws headlines, who's the most entertaining, put him number 1. But in terms of results, which at the end of the day, that's what matters, is winning and losing. And so clearly he was pissed off about that. And I just kind of sat back and I wanted to see what other people's takes were. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the worst thing ever or it's a nothing burger. It's somewhere in the middle, like most things are. But I guess I would just ask this because I feel like it's been a while since Colorado football has been in the headlines for the right reasons since that hot 3-0 start from last year. Like, what does Deion gain by doing this? What does he gain by going back and forth with this guy who's just trying to ask him a question during fall camp? It just, to me, it's an unnecessary distraction. You want to know why? I'm talking about it. Josh Pate's talking about it on his show. Everyone's talking about it. And it's not like we're talking about it in a great light. Again, I don't think this is the end of the world. I don't think this is the difference between Colorado going 6-6 and 10-2. But do you have to go there if you're Deion? Like, just give him a short answer. Whatever the question is, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Next question. You don't have to create this headline and this kind of clip-worthy quote that goes viral on social media because it's just not necessary. You don't need this right now, Deion. Like, it wasn't a good finish to last year. And that kind of brings me to this point. Like, is this going to work? Can this work? And look, I was pissed off when they beat TCU because that's my alma mater. But after a couple of days, I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Shedeur and Deion and Travis Hunter come up from HBCU and just beat the defending national runner-ups. Now, again, that TCU team was clearly not the same. They lost a lot of key talent, just weren't very good. But it was fun. It was entertaining. But then we saw how it ended up. They started 3-0 and lost 8 out of 9 games, and they got blown out a lot. It was ugly. A lot of roster shakeup this year, some coaching shakeups. You know, there's been some headlines generated for the wrong reasons, some drama, some distractions, and you don't need distractions when you're trying to lead 18 to 22-year-olds. It's hard enough in the social media era. And I'm not saying these guys don't deserve a platform. They do. Like Shedeur, Travis Hunter, these guys, like I'm entertained by them. I follow them on social media. I'm entertained by it. But at some point, isn't it about like, hey, like, is this gonna produce wins on the football field? Like, can Deion be a high-level coach for years, plural? Because remember, Shedeur and Shiloh, his 2 kids, they're gone after this year. Shedeur's going to go pro. He's going to be a first-round pick. Shiloh, this is his last year. He's going to get drafted probably on day 3, maybe day 2. Travis Hunter, he's gone. He's going to be a first-round pick. Like, can he sustain? Not only can he win with these guys that he knows well, but can he sustain after that? I don't know what he wants to do long-term, but this has shifted quickly. This went from, oh my God, they're 3-0, like Auburn might hire Deion after this year. He might be an SEC coach, to, I don't know, not really seeing a lot of people pick Colorado to do a lot this year. And let me be clear, Deion is great for the sport. The Colorado numbers for these games they were putting up Bama numbers early in the season. Now, when they started losing, interest was lost, and that's kind of my point, right? You have to keep winning to stay relevant. So I got no problem with Deion Sanders doing it his own way and running a different type of ship in Boulder. But spatting at a local reporter when it doesn't really gain you anything probably isn't the best move. Probably isn't what you need right now. So, look, I'm rooting for him. I hope it works out. But if I was on the PR staff at Colorado, I'd be telling them, hey, man, let's try to avoid viral one-liners and back and forth in press conferences when you're going after a reporter and refuse to answer a question. Like, this is Colorado at the end of the day. This isn't Alabama. Like, answer some questions. You know, you don't have to give a great answer, but refusing to answer, it's just not a great look, if we're being completely honest. And look, does any of this help Colorado win? Because I think it's pretty clear that the answer to that question is no. The answer to that question is pretty clearly no. And by the way, Colorado has a tough schedule, which I'll put it on screen right here. You look at their slate. North Dakota State week 1 at home, that's going to be a challenge. They have beaten FBS D1 teams before. That will not be a walk in the park. At Nebraska week 2, Dylan Raiola, 5-star QB taking over there. Matt Rule, decent coach. At Colorado State week 3, the team that you needed 2 or 3 overtimes to beat last year. Baylor at home, at UCF, those are manageable Big 12 games. But then Kansas State at home, one of the favorites in the Big 12. At Arizona, a top 3 or 4 team on paper in the Big 12. At Texas Tech 2 weeks after that. Utah at home, maybe the favorite in the Big 12. At Kansas, Oklahoma State to finish off. That is, 3-4 wins is not off the table. Now, I think Shedeur Sanders is a really good player. I think Travis Hunter might be the best pure player in college football. But we saw last year, if you can't protect up front, and if you don't have depth, especially in key spots on defense, you're going to get run out of some buildings if you're not careful. So it just feels like a lot of noise for a program that hasn't accomplished much yet. It was a fun September last year. I'm rooting for them. But at some point, these unnecessary distractions don't help you out. So we'll see where it goes from here. Again, the point of this is not to root against Deion Sanders. I like Deion. He's entertaining. He's great for people like me who talk about sports for a living. But I didn't think this was a smart move on his part. I would have handled it differently. Again, everyone's different, but I don't think these little things that keep popping up are beneficial to Colorado right now. All right, real quick, some AP poll takeaways. And my biggest takeaway is this, as you look at kind of the breakdown: 9 SEC teams, 8 in the top 16, 6 Big Ten teams, 5 Big 12 teams, 4 ACC teams, and Notre Dame, no group of 5 teams. Obviously, the Pac-12 teams have morphed into the Big 12, ACC, and Big 10. And my main takeaway is this sport has shifted fast. It's about the SEC and Big 10 first, then the Big 12 and ACC, which ACC is in limbo. They could be in trouble soon. Obviously, Notre Dame is still a factor, and that's it. The group of 5, I know they're going to have a playoff spot this year. Long term, I do not expect them to be included in the college football playoff, at least with an automatic bid. We're not that far away from this being a 2 or 3 conference sport. So, listen, it's adapt or die. I think the Big 12 commish, Brett Yormark, has done a pretty good job of trying to survive. Pac-12 was unable to do that. They're trying to, get some of those ACC teams right now to be that third league along with the Big 10 and SEC. But this thing is moving every single day, and the top 25 teams are basically from 4 conferences now, and the top 2 conferences have about 60% of the teams. So that's just how it is now, man. And with the 12-team playoff, teams are going to play each other multiple times per year, more often than not, in a lot of these seasons. And, looking at the rankings themselves, it's the usual suspects. Georgia's going to be loaded this year. Carson Beck is back. That defense is mostly back. Really good offensive line. They get ETN in the portal. Travis's younger brother comes over from Florida. Ohio State, Oregon, Texas come in after that. I do think that is a top 4 before a little bit of a dip-off. I think Bama's in the next tier. Ole Miss as well. Notre Dame's interesting. Their really good roster is Riley Leonard. Can he get back to being someone that people viewed as a first-round draft pick at quarterback? We'll see. Penn State, Michigan, Florida State rounding out the top 10. Looking at teams outside the top 10 that I think are intriguing. Utah, Cam Rising, 7th-year quarterback. If he's healthy, he's won multiple Pac-12 championships. Now he looks to win a Big 12 title. Tennessee is an interesting team with Nico Iamaleava taking over at quarterback. Kansas State down there, Arizona. USC being ranked felt weird. That felt like, hey, let's get a top 25 matchup week 1 with LSU. I'm not sold on USC this year, but feels like there's 3 or 4 teams that have a real shot to win a natty. But with this 12-team playoff, feels like more is possible. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And again, if you want me to do my own top 25 rankings, let me know, yes or no, in the comments. If you don't, I'm not losing sweat over it. But if that's something you'd like me to do, I could do that exercise on a video. Of course, we'll have more NFL content here on the channel just around the corner as well, but want to work in some college football. I'm Harrison Graham. Subscribe to Verts. We'll see you guys soon.